Hello everyone, my name is Jack the Kid and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about how the mass population perceives comic books. Now, the new comic book movies that are coming out are a lot more lighthearted, like what Marvel has put out for their Marvel movies, and we're starting to get a bit of darkness in Batman v Superman. But today I'm going to talk about the idea and the concept of comics in general and what a lot of people think about it. A lot of people think that comics are just for kids, that they're flashy, fun, stupid, silly stories, when yes, that was like that in the 1940s to 1960s, but then came a new era of comics in the 1970s and the 1980s, which showed a lot more dark and more complex characters. Such examples can be Watchmen, which tackles the political point of views in an alternative universe, V for Vendetta, talking about how the people should fight back to their governments and take control of their government. The Dark Knight Returns, taking a political stance and political fires at America during that time, and the ideas of comic books. Kingdom Come, seeing the relationships between old comics and new comics, and the new age of comics, that is. And basically, these are very sophisticated stories, but the mass media still believes that they are just silly, fun, and goofy, when really they actually offer a lot more, such as character development and plot story-wise. And I just think that if, say, schools use these comic books as examples, people would understand, or students would understand it a lot more than, say, Shakespeare, because you can see the visuals, and two, they actually offer very deep characters and also deep plot lines, even though everyone else thinks, it's all just fun and games. I've gone to the liberty of showing an example by interviewing Mr. Curzo. He's also a comic book fan just like me, and I hope you guys enjoy that part, and right after that I will give my brief conclusion.
All right.
So why do you think the mass media... No, it's okay. Why do you think the mass media thinks of comic books as still children's stuff when really it's become more mature?
So, like a lot of times I think people have trouble letting go of preconceived notions, and so, a lot of comics started off with the targeting children as their audience, but then, I think really nowadays comics are geared more for young men between the ages, and women between the ages of like 15 and like 25, I would say.
Right.
I don't know if that's a specific category, but like I think, teenagers on up through men and young women in their early 20s, and then, obviously older too. But yeah, I just really think it comes down to that a lot of times, people think comics, they go back to comics they remembered as kids, and they can be like, oh yeah, Mickey Mouse, or Archie, or some of these early ones, even the Batman and Superman ones, they were the stories were geared towards children, so people assume, well, they haven't progressed, and that's what it is. It still is what it is. Okay. So I think that's the only reason why. If they spend time, do a little research, and look into them, they see that they're much more sophisticated stories. And I think maybe it's starting to shift that way, because you're starting to see a lot more films being made, television shows being made based on these stories, and people are like, oh, this is pretty sophisticated, actually. So.
Okay. Last question. Do you think that comic books could be used as examples for like English or like classrooms in school? Because they are still literature in a way, but people still see them as, goofy.
So to sort of use them as a basis, like how we use Shakespeare.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that a good story is a good story. It shouldn't matter if it's written as a play, if it's written as a novel, or if it's illustrated, and then dialogue is in speech bubbles, and there's components that have like captions that are included. I don't think it matters. I mean, sometimes they used to go backwards. When I was growing up, I used to get the illustrated book, and so like instead of reading was it Twain that wrote the Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court?
Mm-hmm.
He had the book, but I remember as a kid it was like you had the ability to buy the illustrated version.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like it was going the other way to try to make it more appealing to kids. He threw in some illustrations. So yeah, I don't see comics as being a flawed format for getting good stories out there. And I think yeah, it'd be interesting to see people take a comic and apply it to an English class and maybe study it. You know, it'd have to be sort of, you have to spend a little time figuring out, researching which story would work well for it.
Like some examples that come to mind, maybe like Watchmen or The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, The Watchmen's a great one, and very sophisticated. Alan Moore in general has some pretty good stories.
For Vendetta.
Yeah, that's a great one
Yeah.
as well. I mean, you know, it's like that one is very similar to the book 1984 by George Orwell, which talks about this futuristic society and government watching and stuff. But this, you know, we know V focuses in on people rising up against tyranny and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it'd be an interesting study. I don't think that it would take away from the experience in any way that it be in a comic form and being visual. Might be more appealing. Kids might find it a little bit easier to understand.
And Shakespeare.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, learning how to read Shakespeare can be very difficult. And I think once you get used to it, then you're comfortable. Some people never do, you know.
Right.
But I mean, you know, to add to that, I mean, I remember seeing Hamlet after reading it, and that helped me understand Hamlet better. So, you know, it's kind of in the same vein, the comics. It could be used in addition to the text if there's something else out there. So.
Okay. Cool.
Cool, man. Let me know how I look.
So in conclusion, I hope this video goes out to all of you, just basically saying that comic devices, we may not get to that point just yet, but as new comic book movies come out and become progressively darker, and as new comic books come out and are still a lot darker and a lot more mature for mature audiences, hopefully people can then teaching. So I want to thank you guys first off for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That would be absolutely great. You guys are wonderful. And also follow me on my Snapchat, JackTheKid314, and my Vine, again, JackTheKid314, and my Instagram, again, username, JackTheKid314. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks.
Sorry.